Hi guys, welcome to MotorBeam. Now last week we had done the walk around of this car. This is the facelifted Hyundai Venue and there are lots and lots of changes in this car which go beyond its skin. So let's find out what's really new in the new Hyundai Venue. अगर आगे की बात करें तो this is a brand new front grille. This is inspired from the Palisade and this is the new design language from Hyundai Global. This time Hyundai has given a LED projector headlamp. Previously एक halogen projector आता था. Now the LED projector, they have also changed the angle of the light. So they put it a little more towards the road. So last night I tried it and it lights up the road really nicely. So the Hyundai says there's no need of a fog lamp, and also if you notice there is no additional space, like you can't even use it as an accessory. So there's a new bumper here. The halogens are still there for the turn indicators and the cornering lights. अगर side की बात करें तो there is a 16-inch new diamond cut alloy wheels. There are puddle lamps under the mirrors and there's a new roof rail design. Rest, if you see, the profile is exactly the same as the outgoing model. The most notable difference in this car is the rear profile. You get these new tail lamps which are actually connected to each other, something like the Taigun, but the Taigun looks a little overdone. This looks very neat and very well integrated. Other changes to the rear profile is a new rear bumper and fog skid plates which are there also at the front and behind, and you get a rear camera as well as parking sensors. So boot space is exactly the same as 350 liters, but this time Hyundai has offered two-step recline for the rear seats. So if I recline the rear seat in the second position of recline, the boot space reduces by 7 liters. So in total, when both the seats are at the second level of recline, the boot space is 343 liters, which is still good enough for most things. So when you step inside, you notice that there is a completely new interior theme. You get a black and greige color interiors. The seats also get a bit of leather and fabric. Now talking of seats, realize that you do not get ventilated seats here, while one of its sister concern does get it. But instead of that, Hyundai has opted to give electronically adjusted driver's seat. Now if you look at the dash, I actually prefer this clean dashboard design. You get a new 8-inch infotainment system with new hardware, new software, has 60 plus connected car features, smartwatch connectivity, 65 embedded voice commands, enhanced user interface which actually tells you sports information, score, weather updates, it even syncs your calendar. And on this, there are over-the-air updates for maps and software, which means you don't have to actually go to the service center to get this done. You also have home to car commands. Basically, you can control your car with your Alexa and Google Home. And there are 9 commands available right now, like for example, check tire pressure, check fuel levels, switch on the AC of my car, all these kind of stuff. Quite neat, quite techy, and I think this will appeal to a lot of young buyers. So now Hyundai has done away with the analog cluster. You get an all-digital instrument cluster, which is similar to the Karen's in some extent, but it shows you a lot of information. And of course, this gets drive modes also, the DCT variant. So there are 3 drive modes: normal, eco and sport. And you can actually see how the engine and gearbox behave differently in each of the modes. Like in the sport mode, the engine gets more eager, the gear is more eager to shift up faster, while in the eco mode, the car is more relaxed and obviously helps you deliver better fuel economy. When you talk about safety, the Venue gets 6 airbags, vehicle stability management, electronic stability management, and a host of other active and passive features which make it quite safe to be on the road. Also, their body structure has been made more rigid this time, because I think next year onwards there's going to be Bharat NCAP and Hyundai is actually targeting a very good rating over there. So the body structure has been made more rigid, and that also reflects in the driving dynamics, which I'm going to talk about later. So you get a regular USB port here, you get a 12-volt charger, you also get a C-type port here, and of course wireless charging, which was there last time, is still there. So the glove box is reasonably spacious, gets a cooled function, and over here you get an ambient light. That's it, only here. Unfortunately, I can't show you at this time of the day, but this is where the ambient light is. You also get this sounds of nature. Now Hyundai says that when you are driving alone, you're on a solo trip, these things can actually calm you down. Now honestly, I thought it's a bit of a marketing talk, but this lively forest was really calming, trust me. Sound quality is reasonably good. The previous car actually used to get Archimedes. Now Hyundai has done away with Archimedes, but they have updated the speakers for a similar level of sound quality, and it seems to be pretty good. So there are lots of storage areas in the cabin for keeping odds and ends. So sitting at the rear bench, the headroom is good enough for me. Now 2 important changes here, that the front seats have been scooped out to give better knee room for the rear passenger, and also the rear bench has been raised slightly for better thigh support. So the rear bench reclines in 2 steps. So this is the first step, and I can go a little further back and this is a bit more comfortable. You also get two C-type fast charging ports for the rear seat. Rear AC is there as standard, and you get an air purifier now which is integrated in the central armrest. The infotainment system also gets 10 regional language support like Marathi, Punjabi, etc. and 2 international languages. So let me try this thing if it works. I want to see the sky.
Opening the sunroof.
One very essential feature I find in this car is the tire pressure monitoring. It's always good to know if you're losing pressure on any tires. So this was there in the last one as well. This is being carried forward here, which is a good thing. Let's talk about the engine options. You get a naturally aspirated 1.2 litre Kappa engine which produces 83 PS of power and 140 Newton meters of torque. This comes mated with a 5-speed manual transmission. Now this is what most people are going to buy because this offers decent amount of performance, reasonable fuel efficiency. Someone who really needs a car from A to B will look at this engine option. Now coming to the enthusiastic ones, you have a 1 litre turbo GDI which produces 120 PS of power and 172 Newton meters of torque. Now this comes with a 6-speed IMT. It also gets a DCT. Now I've been driving the DCT and I can see a slight improvement over the last one because Hyundai claims they have improved the DCT. They're calling it the 2nd generation DCT because they have improved the shift timings and the frictional losses have been reduced, so it is more slick and slightly more fuel efficient than before. Lastly, my favorite is the diesel, the U2 CRDI 1.5 litre engine. This produces 100 PS of power, 240 Newton meters of torque, yes, 240 Newton meters of torque, and is mated to a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, there is no automatic option available in the diesel. Yes, the Kia Sonet does get an automatic, but I believe there's a long waiting period for that because the demand is less and the production happens only a few times a month. So coming back to the Venue, now this 6-speed is actually quite a hoot to drive because the clutch is so light, much fun to drive, and the torque, the way it lays out, is fantastic. If you're an enthusiast, you'll actually love this diesel because the torque starts coming to life from as low as 1500 RPM. And leave the costs, everything aside, the diesel is definitely more fun to drive. But of course, you cannot ignore the costs. So if you look at the fuel economy, the diesel gives some mind-boggling economy. Like I'm getting around 17.5 something right now, and I'm honestly not driving with a light foot. So in the morning when we left, the car was full tank. It showed me a range of almost 1000 kilometers. Now practically I think you should get anywhere between around 700 to 750, which is very good for a tank of fuel. Now this weight distribution has become more favorable when it comes to dynamics. The first thing I notice is the steering feels a lot more centered, feels more precise than before, and actually it gives me those vibes of the N-Line. So if you see the i20 and the N-Line, how the N-Line steering is a bit more tighter, bit more precise, bit more feedback rich. Now this is exactly that. So definitely a huge improvement in terms of steering feel. Now the suspension is actually the same as the last time, but it has been improved. The cushioning is much better, and actually it finds a very good balance between ride and handling. Now even on really bad roads, you don't feel much. It's definitely not unsettling, and it's pretty good, a big improvement over last time. Again, braking power is pretty good and predictable, nothing to complain about. So traditionally, diesels are supposed to be quite noisy and clattery, but somehow Hyundai has managed a good job with the NVH. You really can't feel much. Yes, you know it's a diesel, but it's not disturbing at all. So some of the things which we were expecting would come in the Venue update were one, Bose speakers, which haven't come, but they have improved the speakers which are already there. Secondly, no ventilated seats, but it does get electronic seat adjustment for the driver, and of course there is no auto dimming interior rear view mirror, so that was something which I was really hoping for. तो आज पूरे दिन चलाने के बाद I can tell you one thing, that the Hyundai Venue is going to appeal to a very large number of buyers because it offers something for everyone. You get 3 engine options, 4 gearbox options, lot of technology involved in the car, connected car features, is quite premium on the inside, offers a lot of space, drives well, handles well, and the engine is also very powerful. So if you see right now in the compact SUV space, this screams the loudest at this moment. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment and share, and tell me what you think about this car, and if you had to pick a compact SUV, which one would you buy?